His Excellency the Second Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, off. We know that he had communicated that he is leaving for a tour of the U.S. He will be going to different states in the U.S. and speaking to Kenyans in diaspora to take our rallying call that we have to send this government home, and we also would want to engage with them so that they are part and parcel of the government that will be formed in 2027.
Would you say his fears were unfounded because you've seen him sail through the process? What would you tell people?
I don't think they were, because if you recall, we have seen a chronology of events where the DCP youth leader Kiambu has been arrested, rearrested in a very dramatic manner within the court precincts. We have seen the national youth leader, chair DCP, Wanjiko Thiga, arrested and rearrested again in a similar dramatic manner. We have seen the member of parliament for Manyata arrested in a very dramatic manner. And I do believe that those were fears that perhaps the government or the state wanted perhaps to instill fear in him. But as we know that the investigations they've conducted have been shambolic. There is nothing that they have been able to come up with. And that is why we have seen him.
There's been an outburst from the president today about some quarters wanting to topple his government. I don't know what reactions would come from your side, because he seems to be accusing the opposition.
I wonder what quarters those are, because I do recall very well in recent interviews, Rigathi Gachagua has indicated that there are only two ways to have the president, William Samoei Ruto, vacate office. Either he resigns or he is voted out of office in 2027. So I don't know who wants to topple his government. And this is something that the government has been selling, an agenda that perhaps, or propaganda that they are propagating to isolate voices that are dissenting towards the government. So it is just propaganda from the president. And he spoke in a manner that was very underwhelming for a head of state, who at this point, when Kenyans have lost their lives, you know, over 31 during Sabasaba protest, over 13 during the Gen Z protest, so much loss and so much damage to property. We needed a more empathetic president, but we saw the president who came out to speak at the first instance when we had the 2024 protest of June 25th. So that is the president that spoke today, you know, the anger and the bitterness, because I believe that he feels that he has lost grip, he has lost traction, he has lost even the propaganda war, and the Kenyan people right now have refused to be divided and segregated in terms of tribe.
Would you have the details of the itinerary of the DP at this for the US? How many days will he be away? Which places will he be visiting?
He'll be there for more than a month. And what I'd say is that he's going to visit several states, Delaware, Seattle, Washington, and quite a number of them, and engaging Kenyans in diaspora, like I've said, because we know they send quite an amount, a tidy sum, and contribute to the economy, but we also want them to be able to come home and help rebuild home, help give us the ideas that they've seen in the West, and maybe perhaps even implement them, because what we've seen with political appointments, they're a disappointment. But when we have professionals, people who've seen it work, people who know how the system should be running in other countries that are developed democracies, perhaps we can have change back home.
What's the significance of this outing for the party and for the forum?
First of all, we have heard on many occasions, you know, allies of the president claim that Rigathi Gachagua is only a Wamunyoro person. He does not live Mount Kenya region. Then he left the region, went to coastal region, went to Kambani, went to Western Kenya. And perhaps they thought that he cannot go beyond Mount Kenya region. And the optics of this trip is going to show that Rigathi Gachagua is a man who wants to engage every Kenyan as long as they are interested in setting an agenda that will see a formation of a government that will serve and listen to the Kenyan people.
Mheshimiwa, in your general's absence, there are those who feel that then you will be orphaned. What do we expect from this particular team politically in terms of keeping the Ruto regime in check?
I think you've heard even from my colleagues through the laughter that we are foot soldiers. And Rigathi Gachagua has also emboldened us in our pursuit for justice, in our pursuit for proper checks and balances against the government. And I can tell you that we will put up a good fight. We will ensure that we keep the government in check. We will continue with the one-time rallying call. We will continue with implementing the agenda for Kenyans in our respective constituencies and counties. And we'll also ensure that we call out the government and defend, in particular, the young people of this republic that now want to be branded as terrorists by a president. We know that they want to charge young people under POTA. POTA is a Prevention of Terrorism Act. That is an act that is very serious. Kahawa Law Courts is a special court that was set apart and state-funded, funded by the taxpayers' monies, to do very serious work. And we know even in the USA that we have sometimes even mass murders, destruction of property. We never see those people charged under terrorism, because terrorism is a serious crime. You cannot call the young people of Kenya terrorists for simply exercising their rights under Article 37 of the Constitution.
I think I just also wanted to add, you asked whether, we will be orphaned. I think it's also important to note that there is an emerging force, united opposition. And, we have many leaders other than just Rigathi Gachagua. And we will continue going around the country telling Kenyans that